bumper breakfast. Of course, we're still discussing this menace of waste dumping around Lagos. And David Oriyomi is still right here in the studio with me. There's the president of the Waste Managers Association, Association of Waste Managers of Nigeria, the PSP operators section. But you see, one thing he did say before I went on that break, I needed to understand it quite well, that the police goes to the dump sites to pick up scavengers who apparently are the only people who go to the dump site. I mean, even the so-called recyclers around Nigeria don't go to the dump sites to pick up these items. The scavengers are usually the ones that go out, pick it up, and then take it to the women. And you know, the interesting part is women are mostly the ones in that industry acting as middlemen between the posh recyclers, the actual pickers, and then they are the ones that sell. So they are the middle way. And then you now take them in. Isn't there supposed to be a meeting between the police and so that they know, they understand, there should be an umbrella body or something? Or are the scavengers part of the PSP operators too?
Yeah, the issue now is this. We, as I was saying before we went on break, we discussed with MD of Loma concerning this issue. He also spoke with the Commissioner of Police concerning this attitude. And that is the reason why the governor gave us uniforms as a means of identification, because the claim of the police sometimes is that maybe when they are running after some criminals, you know, that they go to that place to in search of such criminals. So once they sight on any recyclers, you know, they just pick on that person because as a suspect. Now, that's the reason why
God help the person, he doesn't have anybody to report. Maybe he was the only one there or two of them and nobody else was there to report. He lands in jail and he spends, and that's why we have more than 100 people in Kirikiri who don't have offenses and have just been dumped there for a number of years.
Yes, because of issues like that. Yes, and that is why we are trying to protect the industry from such attack.
You take up this kind of assignment, picking it up, you know, and I say it's laudable, but at the same time, I think it's rather supposed to be the job of Loma doing this, although you have taken it upon yourselves to do that. Let's talk about recyclables that you pick up when you go on picking some of this. Recyclables, what happens to them? What process do they go through?
Yes, we sell to the recyclers.
So, do you have a sorting process?
Yes, we do, but not as it's supposed to be now.
Okay.
So we are trying to grow that industry to make sure that it becomes so big. Because as we are picking these recyclables, we are selling them. And as we are selling them, you know, those who are using it at the other end, you know, they are so few now. You know, so, and that is why we are working with side by side with Loma to make sure that we grow that aspect of the industry.
Let me go back to the issue of dumpings and another reason for it so that we can begin to wind up this conversation. People complain that Loma does not come to their streets, neither do the PSPs. This I find as one of the reasons why these dumpings happen. You talked about the highway.
Yes.
Let me give you a good example. Ikosi Sherry, CMD Road. The PSPs ply that road. Loma also does. When you get to Omole Phase 2, they also do. When you get to the bigger axis, Loma is there. When you enter Isheri itself, which happens to be the purview now of PSPs, they stop at the junction. Just as you were saying, everybody brings their refuse and dumps inside. There are interior parts of that streets that are way inside, that PSPs have not got into in the last maybe 100 years. I was just being sarcastic anyway. But I can tell you for free that in the last 5 years, there are some streams that have become dump sites. There are some gullies that have become dump sites. Roadside drainages that have totally been eroded with refuse. Why? PSPs never get to their streets, so they stop paying.
So what happens is this. You see, we have a reporting line. If you have issues like that, I've told you, this thing is a business that all of us have to come together to.
So basically, you guys are doing business.
Of course.
So why?
Waste management business is a very capital intensive business. It's a big one. It's a business. And the good thing about it also is that it impacts positively
On the environment, on the people, on their health.
Exactly. We have made a lot of progress. If you look back in the last 4 years, you understand, when the issue of visual sleep and whatever came, Lagos was something else. Lagos was submerged with refuse. But today you have a saner society now.
Yes, there's a sanity, perceived sanity around that.
But it's a work in progress also. So, and what we are now trying to achieve is that, as an association, that is why we formed the association, to look at the loopholes, to make sure that we plug it, we work in synergy with Loma, because Loma license operator and post operator to areas such as the one that you have mentioned. But once we see that area, that there's a leakage here, we try to make sure that we plug it. As we speak, we have 437 PSP operators in Lagos State, whereas in the last 1 year, we are 350. From 350 to 436,
so
you can see
about 86 people
you can see
extra,
and still counting. You understand? So because of such areas you are talking about, Loma is trying to employ
more people
and make sure that they plug those areas.
Thank you very much for joining us on the Bumper Breakfast this morning. But as I wind up the conversation about refuse and waste around Lagos, let's talk about the people who desecrate our bus stops and the back of our bus stops. Let's take, for example, the bus stop between our MITV here and Barracks bus stop. They call it Barracks bus stop, but that bus stop is right by the side of Lausa police station, the one facing the Secretariat here, right here in Lagos. If you pass by the place in the morning or sometime in the afternoon, the kind of stench of urine that comes out of that environment just behind that bus stop is not something palatable. So I'm just wondering if I can call on Loma. So please, if you have these people you call waste police, can you also have these people by the side of the bus stops around Lagos, so that people don't defecate behind the bus stops and don't end up urinating around the bus stop, thereby giving us more environmental challenges than we are prepared to have. Our guest this morning has been David Oriyomi. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up on the Bumper Breakfast next is Women Matters, and of course, you know, Wednesdays we dedicated to women from the hour of 9. We'll be back.